Hey, it's Carol Elizabeth, and this is really the first time I am recording to a camera and a microphone to cover off podcasting, YouTubing, all the things. And when I tell you that I have had this in my heart and in my soul for years and years and years, I really, really mean it. And I'll be talking about a journey right now. I really want to start on my current fitness, wellness, transformation journey because I'm getting a lot of questions about that. But the truth is, whether it is in business, whether it is in mindset, whether it is in body, transformation and elements of change and how we rewire and rework and redefine our stories and our thoughts is really what I focus on. And so I'm going to come at you from all sorts of different angles. And today I'm going to talk about my fitness journey and my wellness transformation. And so if you're listening to this on the podcast, thank you so much for being around for all of these years. Maybe this is the first time you're hearing my podcast. Maybe you've been an OG since way back in the day in 2018 when I first launched. It was then called the So Much More Show, and now it is Trust Your Magic. And if you are new and catching this on YouTube, hey, what's up? Drop a comment. Tell me about yourself. I am so excited to really dive into connecting more and more with you in all of these different platforms. And so I have recently gone on a body transformation journey where I have released 35 pounds. I'm 54 years old. And at the time of this, I am 10 or 9 days away from strutting on a fitness stage. And so let me take you back to the journey of my life because this isn't my first rodeo living in a fit body, fit and healthy, different things. Let me take you through that. And I don't want this to be a super long episode. I'm just going to give a high level overview. And then honestly, based on questions you might have or things you might be interested in, then I'll dive deeper as we go. And so I really went on my first fitness transformation journey at the age of 37, 38, blessed to be a mom of 3 kids. I had 3 kids in 3 years. And I remember using that as what I call a socially acceptable excuse, meaning when I had the extraness, the extra fluff on my body, I remember saying to people, well, I had 3 kids in 3 years. Well, I had 3 kids in 3 years. Well, I had 3 kids in 3 years. Like that was the reason I was living in an unhealthy, tired, frustrated body. Now, motherhood is an interesting journey and it takes a lot of energy and effort as women. And so shout out to all the moms out there. But the truth was when the kids were napping and I was sitting on the couch eating Eggo waffles and Score chocolate bars, thumbing through fitness magazines and looking at these women in a magazine, which was delivered to our house once a month. And I would flip through. For those of you that don't know what a magazine is, welcome. Welcome to the ancient world of magazines. Oxygen Magazine was the magazine. And I said to myself, well, these women are young and these women don't have children and these women are photoshopped and this can't be real life. As I consumed the Eggo waffles layered with peanut butter and syrup while the kids napped. While I also drank a lot of wine and did a lot of that stuff. Didn't move my body much other than going to the park. And that was my lifestyle. But yet being a mom and having 3 kids in 3 years is what made my body not the way I recognized. And so when my youngest was 3, I remember saying to myself, you know what? It's time to get back to you. And I really thought that happiness was going to be found in being fit and losing weight. Like, I don't know if you can relate to that, but when I lose weight, I'll be happy. When I drop 15 pounds, I'll be happy. When I wear a size, whatever, I'll be happy. When I weigh whatever, I'll be happy, which is so redonkerdoodle, really, because we're not walking around the world with like this much, like it's just so many stories we tell ourselves. And so any hoodles, there was a mom at my kid's school that I had seen transforming her body. So I asked her what she was doing and she said she was working out. Darn it. So I started with a group and started doing boot camps and working out pretty darn hard. And I remember, feeling a little better, but not seeing the transformation that I wanted in the mirror. I would look in the mirror, no change. Look in the mirror, no change. I'm like, all this working out and I'm not seeing any change. This sucks. To which I was saying, how do I change? And I was told, well, you got to start looking at what you're eating. So then looking at what I was eating, I'm like, I do really good Monday to Thursday, but on the weekends, I'm social. We've got things. The kids have events. I cook them chicken fingers. I cook them grilled cheese. Like, I can't let that go to waste. I need to eat the crust. Am I right? So that's when I learned that you can't out exercise a bad diet, or I don't like the words good or bad, but the food I was consuming, the exercise I was doing was not enough to create this deficit to be able to lose some weight. And so I decided to embark on a diet, really like like, let me pay attention to what I was eating. And a diet is just a way of eating, really. So the words diet and the thought of it being horrible, it's just changing the way we eat. Like, I was on an Eggo waffle diet. I have been on a, cheese and queso diet. And so diet is just a way of eating. So I changed the way I was eating, started eating like super, super clean, making food, carrying things to like book club. I'll never forget. I went to a book club and the women were like, I don't want to eat chicken and sweet potato. I'd rather be fat. And they consumed, the chocolate and the wine and all of that, and which was fine. And 8 to 10 weeks later, I had released like 20 pounds, 25 pounds. And that's when the girls were like, what? And I'm like, well, when I was like not eating all the chips and chocolate, that I changed what I was eating, continued to work out, and the body transformation happened. So at the age of 39 years old, I decided to do a bucket list. I'm never jumping out of an airplane, step on a fitness stage. I didn't know anything about it. I rented a suit. It was such a fun experience. And going back to the fitness magazine for a second, when I thought that all these women were like made up, photoshopped, and all young and none of them had children, I've learned later in life that I can find proof for everything I want, right? And so what I found was a beautiful soul who was on the cover of this magazine, who lived right where I did in Ontario, Canada. She was my age. She was a mother of 6 children, and I met her, and in real life, she freaking looked fantastic. So all of the stories I had told myself of why blah, 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 blah is impossible, she blew them out of the water. So that's when I knew, okay, this is possible. Strutted on my first fitness stage at 39 and actually got hooked. It was one of the first times that I had ever accomplished anything in my own personal life. And so I went on to continue doing that. I started to build an online fitness business. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 11 years and went through a divorce and really started to figure out, like, how can I be a present mom and make an income? Got a job, played around with entrepreneurship, but continued in the world of fitness and fitness shows. I think my first year I did 6 or 7 shows. Then, fun fact, at the age of 41 years old, I was published in the magazine that I used to read when I ate Eggo waffles. So that was fun. Continued doing that at the age of 43 and 46. I actually became a pro in the federation of my choice. And what I want to say about that world is, when I first got really fit, it didn't make me happier. I realized pretty early on that that was an inner game. And the land of fitness shows and competing, only after a few did I say, what am I doing? I like that I'm doing this. I like the goal. I freaking love the strut. I love the photo shoots, but I'm putting my value and my worth into the hands of people who are literally judging me, which is fine. That's what it's about. But that I'm going to take their word for how great I am for a trophy, and whether I get a trophy or don't get a trophy, like, am I less good as her? Is she better than me? Am I not worthy? And so that's when I was really into the start of the mindset development that I had. And so I was like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for, the fun I have. I travel. I would do all these amazing things. And living in a strong body was great. And living healthy was great. And I started to unpack and uncover all of that. So the last show I did was in 2016. I competed in Miami. I competed in Brazil. I competed internationally. I became a national level figure athlete in Canada, like pretty great at 43, 45, 46, right? So fun. And then I stepped away from it a little bit. I started building other businesses. I really started putting my time and energy into entrepreneurship and kept saying I would get back on stage, kept saying I would get back on stage because I freaking loved it. I really did love it. And then I kept, putting on a little bit of weight. One really important moment that I want to talk about, because it really was an interesting time for me, was as I started to develop more in entrepreneurship, and as I started to lead a team, and as I started to speak at events and really get into, like, I want to help women in particular shift their mindset. I used to say, you shift your mindset from can't to capable and all of those kind of things. And so I would start delivering like all these great messages to people. And then when I would get off stage, all anyone would say is like, oh my God, I love your shoulders. Oh my God, you look so great. And I started to sort of take offense to it, if I'm honest, because I'm like, I just said something like life-changing and all you're seeing is my body. And so subconsciously, I think I started putting on weight because I wanted people to like hear me and not see me, if that makes any sense. Just in unpacking all of that is where that's really come to be my realization. And so in doing that, I started to go to the gym less. I stopped wanting to like go to the gym to have my shoulders to win a trophy, right? And so I pulled away a little bit, went like right into entrepreneurship, multiple businesses, created massive success, leading teams, those kind of things. And then at the age of 49, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer. And obviously that is a moment where, whew, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter what your freaking body fat percentage is or how many abs you have or if you have abs or not. And that really took me on a journey of like inner healing and meditation and deep inner work and understanding that my thoughts and my energy can create what goes on inside of my body. And then through surgeries and radiation and drugs, my body, went through a journey. And I was in instant menopause and all of this weight came on me. And I did love myself no matter what. I did just honor that this body was alive no matter what she looked like. And I really did live in that for a number of years. Now, I kept trying to get back in shape. I kept trying to lose a few pounds, and I would go back to the old model I knew, which was like hard cardio as much as possible and like chicken and asparagus and like suffer through to lose some weight. But it was never a lifestyle. It was always around like, when is this going? When is this going? Oh my God, this belly. What happened here? It's okay. I'm alive, which was true. But I wasn't feeling great in my skin. I was not dressing the way I really wanted to and, was happy to be alive. But there was elements. And so for a good 5 or 6 years, I kept trying. I kept trying to make changes. I kept trying to make things different and nothing frickin' worked. And so the last number of years have been an interesting time. Lots of other life changes. My kids are older now. They need less time of me. They're all away now. Other life situations have added stress into my world. Obviously, we had those panini years when we were all shut down and all of those things. But the truth is, when I finally started to think about what am I doing, I used another socially acceptable excuse, right? Before it was I had 3 kids in 3 years. Then for this, I started saying, well, I had cancer. Well, I was in instant menopause. Well, this is the perimenopause, menopause. This is just what happens when you turn 50, 51, 52, 53. And then I started to do what I do, have conversations with my other self, my higher self, and really take a look and say, okay, cool. Yes, you had cancer. Yes, that was stressful. Yes, you're this age, but what are you doing if you looked at what does it take to be fit, strong, and healthy? What are you doing that would create that body if the other things didn't exist? And I wasn't doing any of them. Well, I was going to the gym, but I was like going with a friend and we were talking the whole time and doing a little bit of weights, but not really. And I would do some cardio, but not. I wasn't paying attention to what I was eating. And I eat pretty healthy. I love protein. I love protein shakes. I don't eat a ton. I didn't, I didn't pay attention. And so I started to hear this theme in the world about, these 10,000 steps. And I'm like, I walk a lot and make sure protein is a focus and eat a lot of protein and get to the gym. I go to the gym, But then I really started to look deeper and I really started to track how many steps do I get? 5,000? Amazing. But if they're saying 10 plus is a key, then I should start to track. Protein. Okay. I'm supposed to eat 100, 120, 130 grams of protein. How much do I eat? 40 to 50. Interesting. More than most women, but nowhere near the goal. Lift heavy weights. That was probably the game changer. I said to myself, Carol, this body thrived through cancer, and you are not treating her with the respect she deserves. And I flipped the switch from wanting to look away or lose a pound or lose 15 or when I will, and understood that I want to be a strong, healthy, vibrant Gigi grandma, Nona, not a Nona, like 80, 85, 88, 90, 96. This last year, my mother passed away at 84 years old, and I started thinking she loved going to the gym, and she can't go anymore, and I can. So we're going to go to the gym, Carol, and we're going to lift weights, and we're going to look at those weights because you know how to do that. And you're going to look at that weight, and you're going to imagine that's your 40-pound grandchild. And you want to lift that grandchild up and you want to put it in a car seat because you're taking it to the park. And you want to be able to go for walks in Europe at 85 and 86 and 90. And you want to make sure that you have vitality and energy and strength to live the best part of the next 40, 50 years. And that's what started getting me to the gym. And I started going to the gym and I started being intentional. I didn't try to fit it in. I made it intentional. I started to track my steps and gamify that. Okay, how do I get more steps? I bought a walking treadmill, what is it? Yeah, walking treadmill. Oh my gosh, if you don't have one, I'll put a link somewhere because it's amazing. Holy moly. I started to not meet people for coffee, but go for walk and talks and have conversations. I started to pay attention. I never really liked having one of these phone things on my wrist because I never wanted the texts all the time, but I certainly wanted to be able to track my steps. I started to pay attention to the protein. I started to have a goal of a protein. I started to have a goal of my workouts and lift heavy. And in June of 2024, the time of this recording, it is November 6th, 2024. In June, I decided after being in Portugal, I want to strut. I saw a picture of me in like hoochie theme wear, and that was my favorite part of any of the shows. And I saw a show in Mexico where I love it in November. And this was in June. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to strut. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to compete. I don't care what I look like. If I make a plan and a goal to hit that stage as a showcase, as a celebration to me, I will be so proud and I will have so much freaking fun doing it. And I brought in a beautiful soul I've known since the dawn of time from my fitness world that I've known her forever. She's my age. She has lived fit the entire time. She introduced me to macros, and I never was a macro girl because I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't want to track apps. It's too restrictive. But I surrendered my knowledge. I surrendered any brain capacity to it. I got a plan and I did the plan, and I just kept showing up. And nowhere in the journey did I stare at my body and say, oh my God, when's that going? Because I do know about energetics. I do know about energy. I do know about frequency. I speak about mindset, and the universe doesn't hear no or not. So when you look at your body and you say, your body hears that. So I showed up as the fittest person I possibly could in my mind. I showed up to the gym. I made it into my calendar. I put in the time to drive. I didn't try to fit it in. I went with intention. I listened to music. I started dancing and making myself happy again. I started to pay attention to the food I was eating. I started making delicious meals like pancakes and ice cream and just things that I ate up that was so good. I was not eating enough fat. I was not eating enough carbohydrates. I was not eating enough protein. So I started eating more. I went to the gym less, but with more intention. I didn't do any hard cardio. I only did cardio a little bit. And suddenly I've been taking photos every day. It's now 113 days. It has been 13, 14 weeks. I've released 35 pounds. And I look at the photos and I'm like, how did that happen? When did that happen? It happened because I didn't focus on it. It happened because I had an intention and a goal and a date, and I filled myself with joy that every day I was just freaking happy to be there, and that I was doing the gym and the workouts so that my 90-year-old self was going to be strong and vibrant. And I made sure that I was filling myself, my soul and my body and every single part of me with things that lit me up. And so the workouts and the meal plans and all of that was just like, I just did it. And then I focused on other things. My book's almost done. I've got an event going on. I've launched a couple of businesses. I've got business coaching clients. Like, I just follow the things that light me up in life, which is the secret to happy life. And so I wanted to record this episode, and I want to keep it short because people are asking me, what's the one thing you changed? What's different? What's the one thing that changed? What's different? And what's different is I surrendered the process. I surrendered the outcome. I didn't need the body to change to be happy. I was already happy. People are saying, you look fantastic. I said, I feel fantastic, but I started feeling fantastic first. I started feeling fantastic in my mind first. I started to pay attention that I wanted to be healthy and strong first. And so that's all that I did. Then I followed a plan. Then I had a goal and I had a deadline, and I did not in any way, shape, or form expect this to be under the extraness that I had. I did not expect my soul to be lit up again to serve women. I ran online coaching for women in weight loss for 8 years. And then I took a hiatus, and I've now brought that back in because there is a fit Carol before cancer and there's a fit Carol after cancer. And the inside soul filling journey of that is what I want to help other women tap into. And so the thing that I changed is what I focused on. I didn't focus on when is my body changing. I focused on why I was going to the gym and why I was fueling my body. And it was for my future self to have energy and vitality. So if any of this resonates with you, please reach out to me. Let me know where your hurdles or hiccups are. This podcast, this channel, everything that I'm doing is going to be all around transformation and change, whether you put that into body, business, relationships. What I know is that everything is connected. And when I was not taking care of my health, relationships started to slide, businesses started to slide. I was still successful. I was still making things happen. I was still happy, but I was not to the level that I am when I am taking care of me first. And we get to be a priority in life. And so if there's anything that I can do to help you, reach out to me. You can follow me at IM_Carol Elizabeth. My fitness account is Redefine Fitness Over 40, CarolElizabeth.com. Wherever you're watching this, if it's on YouTube, comment. I just thank you for being part of my world. And if there's anything I can do, I absolutely will do it because you deserve to feel amazing. And what I know to be true is today is a magical day and you absolutely have the power to make it so. Peace.